Welcome back, folks, to patch 1.3 common test server. So as always, there are new hidden vehicles added per patch into the game files, but they are not available for the public yet. So let's do what we usually do. Let's take a sneak peek. Now this time around, we have the Chinese Bulldog and the French Panhard EBR 75mm FL10. So both vehicles are classified as a light tank, even though the French one is actually a car. So they're going with the car, but it's a light tank, whatever. So I'll put the timestamps to each individual vehicle in the description below. But let's get started with the M41D. So this is basically a modified Bulldog by the Republic of China. Not people of Republic of China. Oh my god. No more politics. It's confusing, whatever. So it's basically like the Type 64, but it's a Bulldog at tier 8. So we have a German Bulldog, we have a Chinese Bulldog, and the actual Bulldog for the Americans. We could have a Brazilian one, and an Italian one, actually the Spanish one too. Actually the Bulldog got exported to a lot of countries. Okay, whatever. So the main difference between this Bulldog and the other Bulldogs is that it has crappier view range, but better DPM. So it's more aggressive, I guess. So taking a look at the stats, it has pretty good DPM, 2300 for a light tank at tier 8. That is very good. Quick aim time, very good accuracy, gun depression, elevation okay. But yeah, it is very fast to turn. Penetration is actually above average. The average is about 175, so about 10 millimeters above average alpha. But this DPM is quite good and goes with the accuracy and aim time. But the main downside to this vehicle is its view range is god awful. We already talked about this with the super test data, but 370 meters of view range is garbage, especially for light tanks. For medium tanks, the average is about 390. Good view range is 400, bad view range is 380. This is a light tank, so average light tank view range is about the same as the mediums. Average is about 390, good view range is like 400 for the Bulldog. Bad view range is like 380 for vehicles that are aggressive, like the LT432 that recently got released on the North America server. So that thing actually has some armor with the LT432, but this thing doesn't have armor. It's a Bulldog. So armor wise, it's paper basically. So 25 all the way around, other than the whole rear. You will get pinned by high explosives. You will get one-shotted by vehicles like the Yak Panzer E100 and head shells from 183. It has no armor, but it has relatively good horsepower per ton ratio for a light tank, above 30, so that's pretty decent. Top speed of 65, reverse of 22, quick haul traverse as well as turret traverse, so both are good. So it's more aggressive light tank that you cannot get hit. Unlike the LT432, you could take a hit and sometimes bounce with the turret and some of the sloping on the upper plate. But all in all, it's a Bulldog, so yeah, it has a 50 cal, you cannot use it. I don't know, I mean, there are no gimmicks to this vehicle. It's a single shot cannon, it's not an autoloader. Give back the 10 round autoloader for the Bulldog, please. God damn it. But yeah, it's not exactly appealing to me because I think the Type 64 actually has about the same view range or even more, like 380. I'll take a quick look, but I want to satisfy my curiosity of a tier 6 light tank beating a freaking tier 8 light tank in terms of view range. Okay, that's okay. Let's take this off. Oh, let's just compare. God, I'll compare it in the stuff. So light tank at tier 6, Chinese Type 64, and we'll put the Type 62 for fun at tier 7. But I already have those vehicles, both from marathons, and you could put stuff on it, unlike what I do. So let's take off all the stuff quickly and efficiently. Configure this stuff, take off the crew, take off the optics. Usually when you're playing these vehicles, they promote a more aggressive type of gameplay, so you would probably put optics instead of what I use, binoculars. I like to passive scale, but yeah, 390 for tier for tier 6. You have 20 more meters of view range than tier 8. Oh my god. Same goes with the Type 62, but Jesus Christ. It has 20 meters of less view range than a freaking tier 6 light tank of the same tech tree or same nation in the tech tree. God dang. It does have the best DPM and the best aim time, but you cannot use this effectively if you get killed super quickly. So you have to snipe. It's more of a sniping light tank, but based on the meta of corridor maps and all funneling into a choke point, I don't think this is a good vehicle unless you're very good at dodging shells and your enemies have the worst RNG in their aiming and accuracy and stuff. But 370 meters of view range, that is god awful. Also, it's a Bulldog. It's the size of a Sherman in layman's terms. So here is the Bulldog, as with my Bulldog. God, it is so bad. So here's the Bulldog, the same size as the Chinese one, but here is the Sherman. It's about the same size as the Sherman tank. So it is a light tank, sure, for sure it's a light tank, but it's the size of a freaking Sherman, so you will probably get hit by a large caliber gun and you will take like more than 50% of your health. If you want to train your Chinese tank crew, I will recommend the Type 64 or the Type 62 when you get an opportunity, but it has 20 meters less view range than freaking tier 6. Jesus Christ. Well, then again, light tanks, premium light tanks don't get nerfed from patch 9.18 or 9.15. But that was the infamous patch with all the nerfs to artillery, to light tanks, and your favorite 357 matchmaking. So it's a crew of 4. It does fit the Chinese crew loadout for all the stuff, so that's good. But man, this thing, jeez. Go with the Type 64 or the Type 62. But Jesus, if you want to be competitive at a high tier, you need to have some view range, and 370 is not good enough. And camo is also not good enough because it's the size of a Bulldog. It has the gun. The gun's okay, but yeah, you're not gonna make this gun work long enough for you to survive. So let's quickly jump towards the Panhard because it's already here. The Panhard EBR is the first French car, or any car, in the game other than the event Lanchester 4x2 car thing. But it's I mean, it's not a small target. The wheels are deceiving, but it is actually this hull right here. That's the actual collision model. So shooting at this wheel, you might miss if you shoot above it because there's nothing behind it. But it's not a small target, so it's not a ELC EVN 90mm, that's for sure. So you will likely also get hit, but this thing is faster. So it has the 180mm of pen, which is average, above average slightly, but very good turret traverse. That's really good. Also, it comes with the special aiming right mouse button to auto lock when you're in like a circle, so it's not exactly point onto a vehicle and you lock. It's more forgiving in that sense, but it's a 2-shell clip. Takes 10 seconds to load the whole clip, so it's like a 2-shell magazine, and it takes 1.5 seconds between each shell, so that's okay. I mean, it's like a heavy tanks gun in terms of alpha, but its DPM is not great. I don't think you could fit a rammer onto this thing. Let's take a look. But if you put a rammer on this thing, it would be decent. You cannot. It's an autoloader, so no rammer for this thing. Alright. I mean, some vehicles could have a rammer, like the Cheery, that's one. There's also one other autoloader that could put a rammer. I totally forget. It's a weird World of Tanks trivia, but otherwise, yeah, gun's okay. Very quick to aim, average accuracy. But I already took a look at the soft stats for the dispersion. It's actually pretty good for running on the move. That doesn't make sense. For running and shooting, it's actually pretty accurate. So as expected, you need some accuracy driving at 100 kilometers per hour, but armor wise it has 40mm, so you could throw a shot if you have a weird angle like that, but don't expect to bounce a lot of the shots. 40 is not much, and it's 40 for the whole rear as well as the whole front. So which end is the front, you don't know. They both look the same, so it's like a cat and dog thing. So both sides looks the same. Okay, weird 90s kids joke. The turret is a AMX-13 turret-ish. So yep, that's pretty much it. But horsepower per turn ratio is 50. Is that good? Well, there are two different versions of this vehicle. One is with the digging trench wheels lowered, and one is with them raised. So one has a better mobility, driving on a straight road, obviously, and one has better traction. So it turns at, let's see, how fast do you turn? That's very important. It doesn't say. Maximum wheel turning angle, 30 degrees. So it takes like 30 degrees turn? It's not like hall traverse, because it's not a hall, it's a car. You need to parallel park. And it's not exactly you can just drive into the parking space. But 60 kilometers per hour top speed going forwards and backwards. They do not show the engaged switching to rapid mode or cruise mode. I think rapid mode is with the tracks raised, with the trenching wheels raised, whereas the cruise mode is with them lowered and gives you better traction, but they did not tell the difference. So it's like the siege mode, but okay. 50 horsepower per ton ratio. It weighs like a feather, 15 tons. So I don't know. I mean, how many crews? Ooh, you can also have a radio operator, which you don't have for the French light tanks. So it's currently classified as a light tank, even though it's a car. So you could train your AMX-13 crew with it. And you need a radio operator from somewhere, but none of the French vehicles have a light tank radio operator, I don't think. ELC, no, that only has 2. And then with the AMX-12T and the 13s, nope, I don't think you have a radio operator. So you might have to find one from stuff like AMX-40. I think AMX-40 has one. Ugh. So overall, it's okay, but the main downside is it's a car, and cars have 310 meters of view range. I mean, people are already complaining from the initial super test data, and this thing's a car, only has 310, that's god-awful. But I think they are trying to promote that this thing should be played as a super aggressive active scout with the horsepower per ton ratio and the speed and mobility. You don't even see that with normal light tanks nowadays. People just camp with their light tanks at the front lines. That's basically it. Nobody active scout correctly. Well, then again, if you do, you get blown up because of the corridor maps and lower or tighter space of the choke points. So it's not really beneficial to play light tanks. But this thing turns weird. So it's a car, and some of the choke points have really weird crevices and rocks and buildings. So you need to drive pretty well. But it's a premium, so you do make more credits and crew XP. Well, if this thing could go like 100 kilometers per hour top speed, that would be pretty nuts. And trying to hit it will be a fun time, but I mean, you could outrun practically everything in the game, basically, but it's not a big map. If we do get back like front lines for tier 8s again, this thing would be pretty great because it's a large ass map. You run like the wind. That's awesome. But just give us back front lines, man. Come on. So I don't know. It's a new gimmick, and I wasn't sure that the new gimmick for the siege mode was great or not, but once you have the corridor maps, once you have the amazing camouflage values, then hell, siege mode with the S-tanks are great. But for this vehicle, I don't know, it's a car, and the current meta is all corridor maps, and large ass vehicles you will likely see in the 357 matchmaking, so I wouldn't put it off, but I would not put money on it. So it's average-ish, I guess, but Jesus, this Type 64 is killing me. So view range, it's garbage, but you probably would put optics on this thing, and I would probably put, if you're running all the time, vertical stabilizer, obviously, and you don't need to aim, it's very quick to aim, so I would probably put vents, and that's the actual loadout. So this thing will turn very quickly, very accurate, quick to aim, and you just need to point and click basically. So let's see how good the optics will change the view range. 350, so it's like a Russian heavy tanks without cruise skill. I mean, if you're fast, sure, but still 350. So you have to be basically attracting gunfire in a practical sense and missing. So the only way to spot people without them shooting at you is basically driving really close. But if they shoot at you, they will lower their camouflage rating, obviously. So you have to be being shot at basically with this vehicle in order to be spotting people mostly. So if a well understanding player of their vehicle that knows when to not pull the trigger, you basically cannot spot them unless you get close enough. That sucks. So we have a radio operator, and he's going to do the situational awareness. You could put recon on it, but that's 370. That's like a crappy Chinese Bulldog. You can also have Brothers in Arms, but that's like a crappy Mutz in terms of view range. Fudge! I mean, is 50 horsepower per ton ratio the trade-off for garbage view range and the top speed as well? But I don't know. I really wouldn't put money on this thing. I mean, it's a fun thing if you have this vehicle in front lines in large ass maps. Sure, it's probably going to be amazing, and you could repair this vehicle with the repair circle area thing. So if this vehicle is in front lines, I would bet it would be pretty popular. But we have tight ass corridor spaces and choke points and corridor maps. So for the average, like random matches, I wouldn't put money on this because you'll be outspotted by vehicles that are aggressive, like the LT432 in a sense, and you will get killed quickly. Or like smaller light tanks that you can actually hit, like the T92 or the ELC EVN 90mm, because those vehicles are small, so they could get more aggressive because it's unlikely that other enemies will hit them in a sense. But in order to spot with this vehicle, you need to be shot at. So you have to know how to drive this car, you have to know your actual awareness of the map. So unless you drive into a ditch or into a lake or a river, that would be bad. So there's going to be a lot of fails with this thing, but it's a skill cap, it's a skill curve. So knowing how to drive well is very important, but also what I wonder is, can you switch to the trench wheels while on the move? Can you lower this wheel while on the move? Because in siege mode, in order to switch from the siege mode to the cruise mode for the S-Tank, you have to stop and actually switch. You cannot just switch while running. So for this vehicle, it needs to run, but could you switch to the better traction mid-running in the 50 kilometers per hour top speed, so to speak? If you could do that, that would be actually pretty decent. It's like pulling the handbrake and having a drifto moment, and then you turn a sharp corner and you just run away. That would be amazing, but we'll have to see. I don't have the vehicle, cannot tell you. But overall, If this thing has like 350 meters of view range, I think it would be pretty decent. But as of now, I would probably give this vehicle a 7.5 out of 10. Untested. If I test this thing and the actual view range is not that much of a deal, I will give it like a 8.2 or something. But for the Chinese Bulldog, this thing, I'll give it a 6.5 or something. It's not great. I'll give it a 6.5. Maybe a... Nah, I'm not giving it a 7. I'll give it a 6.5. A 6-ish thing. Oh, God. The freaking tier 6 has 20 more meters of view range. God dang it. But there you go, folks. The 2 new light tanks, quote-unquote, for patch 1.3. I'll put the stats in the editing, of course, with all the soft stats and other stuff. But yeah, it's more premiums for your money, basically. I mean, then again, when we're talking about patch 1.3, let's do a little bit rant for this patch. Now, what I think about the new system with the decals and other stuff, it's kinda superfluous, and I never asked for this, and it's not going to be 1 gold for each sticker. That's not going to be the case. I'm betting like 20 gold or something, or 50, but it's not going to be, yeah, 1 gold. It's not going to be like that. But you only have like 2 areas available, even though you have 4 spaces, so you can only put onto 2 areas, like this one, and the other 2 are locked. That's basically it. So it's asymmetrical. I don't like that, mostly because of my OCD, but obsessive. But I never asked for this. It doesn't do much. It doesn't add camouflage value. So it's just a sticker, and you rarely see people put emblems and other crap on their vehicle, so it doesn't do much. But then again, if they do put the stats back, like what they did with Rubicon, it's obviously going to be pay to win. So it's not interesting enough. What if you could put like a sandbag right here, or a bush right here that doesn't do anything, but I would like to see a sandbag rather than a 2D sticker of something. Or if you could put like a 50 cal, even though it doesn't make sense, or like 50 cal right here, put more machine guns. It doesn't do much, but it looks a lot better. So it's like a skin mod. Also, speaking of skin mods, this will break skin mods for tier 8 and tier 10, because you have new spaces and it's a new script. And fucking Christ. So yeah, I mean, I never asked for this. It's not that great in terms of whatever. So I mean, it's all birds and animals and stuff. The only cool ones are like the cards, I think, and the bicolor, the 2-color ones, and god damn it. I mean, you cannot put the arrows on the side of the hull. I mean, if you do, it's the wrong direction. I don't even care. So basically, it sucks. It's like, it feels like a last-minute addition towards this patch, but whatever. Also, they changed the personal missions for the cooperative aspect of some of the first season of personal missions. So let's quickly jump towards stuff like, if you saved a few of the missions like what I do, so I want to save like the 2 days of premium, I can finish the secondary objective and get the stuff. But basically, I think they reduce a lot of the damage need to be spotted while hiding or something. So they took away the party aspect and reduced the condition. So it should be easier, quote unquote. I don't know yet. So doesn't survive the battle. Okay, so basically, yeah, I think they reduced some of the conditions. Like, I remember this being 6,000 or something, or 5,000. I don't know. They probably reduced some of the requirements for the party missions in the tens of the personal mission for first season. So the original ones was like, in a party you have to get like 5,000 damage or something, blah 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 blah. But that's good. So overall, patch 1.3 is just, I mean, it's buffed to the Excalibur mission, almost so Excelsior, but there's nothing really interesting. But then again, already asking for too much because we already got the Polish tanks this year. We already got the Italian tanks this year. And we got 1.0, which is the biggest patch since like ever in March of this year. So we got the 1.0, we got the Italians next for summer, and then for autumn of this year we got the Polish, and there were some revisions and other stuff. So I'm not asking much. Yeah, I'm asking too much if we're getting like, I don't know, a new nation for December, which is not likely going to happen, but yeah, it's okay. There are no new tanks added or new concept. I would like to see Frontlines back. That's basically it. If you bring back Frontlines for December, perfect year. Amazing year. It's just like a permanent mode for Frontlines, like Grand Battle mode, but all the time. I think people want to play Frontlines more than what they play with the random battle mode. So, I mean, you could have a separate server for Frontline where you get mix and match with tier 10s and tier 8s and tier 9s, but you get like a respawn token. So a tier 10 would cost like 3 coins or 3 respawn token, whereas a tier 8 will cost only 1, or some of the balancing stuff. But that's how you probably get more people playing Frontlines. But we don't have it. So this year, I'm not asking much, but bring back Frontline, and for December, I doubt they will. So overall, Chinese Bulldog, garbage view range, but aggressive gun, I guess. And the Panhard, which is a toss-up, so we don't know. We don't know yet. So I'll give it a 7.5 for now. But if it's decent, I'll give it like an 8 or 8.2, 8.25. I actually give the IS-3A 8. I'm changing my mind. I give it like an 8.25 or something, but I don't know. The IS-3A could be better. I mean, could have like 14 horsepower per ton ratio or something. But if it's top tier, it's amazing, sure. But if you're bottom tier, you just Wolfpack. 8.25. I changed my mind from an 8 to 8.25 or 8.5. Maybe 8.5. 8.5. Yeah, I'll change my mind. But that's basically it, folks. I mean, there should be the tier 2 German gift light tank for Christmas this year. They have not added. It's the MKA, the Mitten something something Panzer Aufkrams Panzer something something. It's a tier 2 German light tank or medium, but they have not added that vehicle, so I guess it's going to be micropatched. Okay, or we could get the tier 4 Polish one, but did they add that one? Nope. Medium? Nope, they did not add that. Heavy? What the frick? You don't have a tier 4? It's only a light tank. Yeah, it's the prototype to the 25 TP, but it's called like BBR, BT, PANC. Yeah, it sounds like a penis. But that's basically it, folks. So thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Are you afraid?